Hey everyone, welcome to The Gig, a series about film and TV from behind the scenes and on the screen. We're your hosts, Layla T. Rosario.
And Jessica L. Ransom.
And today we are going to talk about Wicked.
Ah!
We'll leave that to Cynthia and Ariana.
So, if you guys don't know Wicked from a book and a Broadway show, I've actually seen the Broadway show years ago. It's fantastic. We all know about her and her drama with Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, but we don't know her background. We don't know what's going on with her. This woman who was a very sweet kid and child is ostracized because she was green, and that's played by Cynthia Erivo. Everyone's mean to her. Everyone's teasing her. And then she finally comes into her own, but coming into her own means she's an extremely talented witch. Spoiler, in the end, she finds that she has all these powers. She goes to the wizard like, hey, you know what? I have all these powers. I want to learn more. I want to be there. And he's like, I'm going to use you to help me out in my plan because you're green. We don't need you here. You know, you're just going to work for us.
John M. Chu, he crushed it as a director. It is the musical of the year. And I will say this, in the beginning, I was like, is this really for me? It had to grow onto me. And I think why it had to grow onto me is because it challenged me as a filmmaker and as a viewer to feel uncomfortable about real topics today that are affecting women, affecting society, discussing colorism, discussing racism, discussing emotional abuse from her parents. And these are real issues that happen in the day-to-day real world. And why in the beginning it was a little uncomfortable for me to watch is because I could relate to some of those things. When Cynthia got to the point to meet Oz, it kind of reminded me of corporate America. They take on very talented people. The people who are in upper management are just monopolizing and using the talented folks to be able to persuade the crowd. And I felt that Cynthia's character as a witch represents corporate America and also represents the racism and classism that we experience in society and also too in workforces. And I felt some kind of way to take advantage of a green woman and her skill sets and her talent and her awesomeness. And at the end, when she realized, I don't need any of you bitches, and you bitches are still trying to fuck with me and fuck with my morals and my principles, this is what I'm gonna shut you fucking down. And that's all I gotta say. Anyway.
And that's what that song is about. I found as a Black queer woman, I love Cynthia Erivo is also a Black queer woman. So in a sense, I was like, this is exactly my experience. Like literally, always not fitting in, feeling ostracized, growing up, they coming into like a kind of setting and then dealing with mean girls. Then in corporate America, that same kind of background. I felt like so identified with this character. It was my experience, true in and true out. Even when in terms of like dating, even when you like someone, like, are they really going to like me because I'm Black? And in this case, and because I'm green? I just felt like it is such a struggle that most BIPOC people experience and deal with. And that's why it's resonating with so many people. And that's why people are holding space for Defying Gravity. Because if you ever felt like you are not good enough or not worthy enough, and then we finally get to the space where you think that it's going to be safe, and then you realize, holy shit, it's the same motherfucking shit all over again. That is the biggest thing about it. And that's why I was blown away by this film. The art direction, the writing, the singing. I mean, it was phenomenal. Ariana, also badass bitch. Let's give her her prop. She channeled Kristen Chenoweth from the Broadway show like nobody's business.
I can only add to what you said about Ariana. Her role irritated me and it worked. And she was very transformative in her role. And I loved her little tribe of like mean girlfriends that kept following her around. And I mean, she could honestly make anything up. And they were like, oh my God, that was so phenomenal. Did you see that she did this? Like, this is the best thing. It reminds me of being in college and being in college settings where you're looking to fit in, you're also figuring yourself out. We also saw her transform. She became a part of the script and the development of the storyline that shows that she evolved into being an empathetic witch. In the beginning, she was very self-absorbed, very much about looking to be the most powerful, the most talented, the most seen, and the most heard. And she evolved into being someone that became very loving and compassionate. Again, whether it is calculated or not, I guess we'll find out in part 2. I still enjoyed it and it was believable. And the two of them together are a phenomenal dynamic duo. And John, you did that, honey. I can't wait for part 2. It was amazing.
Let's talk about that press tour, honey, because the press tour with them is so good. I cry even on the press tour where they're talking about their experiences and how they bonded and how they're making this film. I mean, every press tour should be as good as this press tour.
Shout out to the entire marketing, strategic, and production, creative direction, and all of the above, who sat there and said, this is how we're going to go on tour for the whole year. It became such a phenomenal experience for me as a fan and as a viewer to see the impact that went beyond the film, the community impact, the conversations, also so much artwork that was developed out of it because of so many fans. The movie is the movement, and I cannot wait. That is our review. We want to know what you think. Drop those comments and let us know what you think about Wicked.
Bye, guys.
Bye.